to
Such
Social
a nasty
Security.
woman.
Nasty women are tough. Nasty women are smart. And nasty women vote.
America is still a great country, and it is still worth fighting for.
I'm not giving up, and neither should you.
What's up, everybody? This is Ray with Nasty Women Nation. Welcome to the podcast. This is our pre-inauguration spectacular, as I would like to call it. Of course, we got Ray, Wendy, Kara coming at you guys from Houston. Got Katie and Dex joining us from Colorado Springs, Aaron from Austin, and Kelly from Illinois. So, of course, the inauguration is tomorrow, where we are going to swear in Donald Trump as the 45th president of the United States, and his underling, Mike Pence, as our VP. I'm super, super not excited, as I'm sure many of you guys are out there. So I just kind of want to go around the room really quick and get everybody's thoughts on how they feel about the inauguration tomorrow, and then we'll move on to some other topics. Aaron, let's start with you.
Well, I'm horrified, as I have been since November 9th. Basically, I kind of feel like it's the end times. I mean, doesn't everybody who's not Republican and white? Yeah, I'm basically, I just kind of feel like we have a lot of terror to look ahead to for the next 4 years, and kind of just bracing myself for that.
I could not agree more. How about Kelly? What are your thoughts?
I have had this growing ball of just sickness in my stomach all week. I can't imagine that tomorrow's inauguration will be like the most classiest thing ever either. Just kind of waiting to hear how badly it just gets totally fucked up. Other than that, I'm just so sick to my stomach, I can't stand it.
Katie and Dex, what about you?
We are super stoked, comrades. No, wait, sorry.
No, like the opposite thing.
The opposite. The other side of that. Yeah, I mean, we all knew it was going to happen. We all knew it, ever since Election Day, that this has just been where we're headed towards. And as I've seen so many people talk about, it's hard to hold on to hope. It's hard to keep from, that sick feeling in the pit of your stomach and the complete and total astonishment that every time you think that they can't surprise you with a new level of stupidity and outrageousness, they somehow rise to the challenge and do it. But, I take a lot of heart from a lot of the people that I follow on Twitter. This is the lives of a lot of people in America on a daily basis, regardless. Like, this is not much of a change. And so, as far as tomorrow goes, it's time to get to work. It's time to buckle down. It's time to really start paying attention and continuing to be vocal, continuing to call your representatives, focus on 2018, focus on the elections, focus on low-level city council elections, commissioner stuff. And, you make the change from the ground up. That's how this works. And now's the time to do it.
Absolutely. Kara, what about you?
So I was feeling really sick right after the election, and then that turned to anger, and now the pendulum has swung, and I'm back to feeling sick. Probably what I imagine the dinosaurs felt like as they watched an asteroid plummet to the Earth. Now it's an orange asteroid, and it's coming for us. There's no way to stop it. We can't do anything about it, and I feel this terrible, overwhelming sense of dread that I don't know if it's going to go away anytime soon, but yeah, that's basically it.
And Wendy, what about you?
I'm still absolutely heartbroken that we couldn't get President Obama to resign today so that Joe Biden could be the 45th president and just ruin all of the merchandise. But in all seriousness, I agree. We need to stay focused. We can't have high intensity energy at the very beginning and then just fizzle out and start living like this is normal. We've got to remember that this is a marathon. We've got to get through the next 4 years. We've got to get through the next 2 years, get, the 2018 elections, get Congress people and senators voted out of office and replaced with candidates who will actually get something done. It's all the people who are saying that Obama didn't accomplish anything during his 8 years in office. That was mostly due to Republican obstructionism. So if we can get Congress and House of Representatives and all of these people replaced and have them be more aligned with our political values, we can maybe get something done, and then we can focus on 2020 and get rid of the mango overlord.
Yeah, I think that sums it up nicely. I really do. And, I mean, especially when you've got people like Betsy DeVos, who's over here saying that we need guns in school to save the children from the grizzlies. It's very scary times if that were actually true. I made it through, all my years of school and not one grizzly attack, so I consider myself very lucky. This just shows you what kind of logic is going through the cabinet of people that are going to be making decisions about our lives in the next 4 years, which is terrifying when you've got people like Rick Perrier jumping in as, into a role that he originally wanted to do away with. So, yeah, I don't even know what to say. Katie, Dex, what are your thoughts on good old Betsy and the Bears?
I'm having visions of like Jurassic Park, where the Bears have suddenly figured out how to open doors. I mean, for has never even been in a public school. I'm like, you have to show 3 forms of identification just to walk through the door. I don't know where she thinks the Bears are going to get that kind of it's amazing. And while we're talking about cabinet appointments, I don't know if anybody has seen the articles that are floating around about the 28 people out of 690 that are supposed to be appointed. Like, there is nobody in the wings to take over from the administration, like across the board. We're looking at a complete breakdown. On best case scenario, we're not even talking about a catastrophic event, just day-to-day operation. They don't have anybody in there to fill these positions to take over this stuff. And it's astonishing to me that these people are so, I don't know why it's astonishing, that these people are so lackadaisical about this kind of important, bureaucracy for our country. I get it, you don't like the government, but it's required to run the country.
Kara, what are your thoughts on, especially what you've seen so far from some of the cabinet nominations and some of the hearings that we've seen so far?
It's kind of horrifying. Some of them have surprised me, and they haven't been as bad as what I initially thought they would be, or at least they know how to present themselves so that they don't seem really terrifying, except for Betsy. Here comes Betsy talking about the Bears, and the Daily Show staff actually called up, the school in the district that she was talking about. They don't have guns. They have fences and bear spray, and they're good. I don't think that they have, bear attack. So she is just absurd in so many ways. The fact that she is dodging and weaving questions, just does not know some basics, which, granted, I don't know them either. I'm not a teacher. I don't have a degree in education. However, I'm not trying to be the leader of the Department of Education, so I don't necessarily need to know those things. But all of the cabinet nominations, to me, are just a farce. It's just completely and totally ridiculous. They are going to be the most uneducated cabinet that we have ever had. And I don't understand how people think that this is an amazing thing. It just completely blows my mind.
Kelly, what about you? I mean, you're further up north. You guys have to have way more bears than we do here down south, right? You have to have seen a bear in a school at some point, I'm assuming.
Oh, not at school. Although we did have the helicopter from the news chasing it around, telling people not to bother it. So there's that. Poor black bear. It was so sad.
Racist with the bears.
I know, right? I know, but it was just a little black bear, and they don't get very big around here. But to kind of touch on the whole cabinet thing, the ones that I was watching, I really wanted to just look at everybody and go, what other job in the United States right now could you possibly come to your first day, not even your first day, but your interview, and be so unprepared like these people are? I mean, they can't even answer some of the basic questions. Some of them don't even know what what their spots are for, Betsy, The whole bear thing is just beyond me. The one I was watching today, I turned it off before we even got to actually any answers.
So yeah, I mean, just the whole thing with the bears, kind of ridiculous. Aaron, are you concerned you have a child, are you concerned for her safety out in the world?
Of course.
But specifically because of bears.
Figure out how to homeschool.
constant vigilance. No, actually, okay, the best tweet that I have seen about the bears, it said, I don't understand Betsy DeVos's logic on grizzlies. If bear attacks are bad, can't we solve that with more bears? Good guys with bears? And I was like, oh, that's perfect. Good guys with bears? Yes. The more I look at it, actually, the Washington Post had an excellent article today about what Trump's cabinet looks like. They literally break it down and they show you by gender, by race, ethnicity, by where they live. And basically, he's comprised his cabinet of the people who voted for him. White people, people who live in red states, people who basically just, who kind of align themselves with what he said he was going to do. And the other thing that I was thinking about too, I've been reading about how much he plans on slashing just all sorts of programs. And if you think about it, it makes perfect sense why he would absolutely stack his cabinet with people who are diametrically opposed to the offices for which they've been nominated to. Because what does it matter when he's just going to slash the shit out of everything? Like, basically, no fucks. Yeah. No fucks given. I mean, really. I think it makes perfect sense when I look at it, and that's what makes me more frightened.
I absolutely agree with that. Wendy, what are your thoughts?
Okay, so beyond the whole bear issue, one of the things that Kelly had brought up and one of the things that Katie had brought up was the fact that we're focusing on these, 28 cabinet appointments, and he hasn't even started to fill the other appointments. And I think that goes back to the fact that he has absolutely no clue for how this needs to be done. He has no experience in government, and it's standard procedure when there's a new incoming president, even if it's a president being elected for the second term, that all of these appointment positions, they tender their resignation, and either you don't accept their resignation and you have them stay on for the next 4 years, or you have somebody else in mind for that position and you have their replacement ready to go. So, we're looking at the National Guard commander in D.C. tendered his resignation, and there's nobody waiting. I mean, we've got the interim commander who is going to take over when his resignation comes into effect. But we've got ambassadors and we've got all of these positions overseas where there is nobody who is going to take over these positions. And it's because the incoming president has no idea how this is supposed to run. And he didn't know that he was supposed to have all these things ready to go from the time that, you're officially the president-elect. You need to get this stuff done. So we're seeing all these appointments where these people have no idea how it's done because the president-elect has no idea how it's done. So I feel like this is just what the next 4 years are going to be like. I mean, he doesn't know what's going on, so nobody he appoints is going to know what's going on. And it's just going to be a complete disaster from here on out. I desperately would love to be wrong. Please, please, please. I hope he proves me wrong, and I hope that he makes the country better. I don't foresee that happening, but, if I'm wrong and he does manage to pull this out of his ass, I will gladly accept my wrongness. And Ray knows how rarely I do that. I hate being wrong. But, yeah, if he proves me wrong, please, by all means, make America better. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody heard the news today about him appointing the guy who owns the New York Jet to be the ambassador to the UK.
What?
And no shit, people. And not only that, somebody commented on this and was like, well, what does it matter? It's just a ceremonial position anyway. Like, the astonishing lack of knowledge across the board in this country. And we're like, it's Britain. It's our freaking closest ally. No, the ambassador is not a ceremonial position. It's a working job. Like, he's not just going over there to eat freaking steak pie and drink beer. He's working. He's supposed to be doing important things. And I cannot believe.
Well, that kind of goes back to my point, though, which is, it's like a slash and burn. I honestly think he does not think that it matters who he